Two times we are taught that God took material from this planet in order to create living beings. And out of the ground the Lord God formed every beast of the field and every fowl of the air. And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life. And man became a living soul. These verses suggest a connection to planet Earth, something we often overlook. Remember that Adam was supposed to care for and manage the part of the earth where he lived. And the Lord God took the man and put him into the Garden of Eden to dress it and to keep it. Let's look at a few more verses to help us understand our connection to the planet we live on. The earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof, the world, and they that dwell therein. In the book of Isaiah, we are shown a connection between the actions of mankind and the earth we live on. The earth mourneth and fadeth away. The world languisheth and fadeth away. The haughty people of the earth do languish. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant. Therefore hath the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left. These verses are telling us that the actions of mankind have a direct impact on the health of the environment, and indeed the very world itself. And let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. We may get the wrong impression of the word dominion if we brush over this verse quickly. The word dominion is translated from the Hebrew word rada, and while rada includes the idea of ruling, it also implies a responsibility for care and stewardship. This suggests that humanity is to manage and look after creation, not exploit it. In the Genesis context, it is generally interpreted in a more benevolent sense of moral responsibility to care for the creatures of the earth. We have more to consider, however, when we look at what God said to Noah. And the fear of you and the dread of you shall be upon every beast of the earth, and upon every fowl of the air, upon all that moveth upon the earth, and upon all the fishes of the sea. Into your hand they are delivered. Every moving thing that liveth shall be meat for you. Even as the green herb have I given you all things. It would appear that our domination of the animal kingdom causes an automatic fear of humans within the animals. Again, we have more to consider when we look at the following proverb. A righteous man regardeth the life of his beast, but the tender mercies of the wicked are cruel. It seems apparent that animal life, while it is consecrated for our use, is to be valued and appreciated. God himself remembers each and every form of life under his care. Jesus made this clear, as well as the value of each human life, when he stated, "Are not 5 sparrows sold for 2 farthings, and not one of them is forgotten before God? But even the very hairs of your head are all numbered. Fear not, therefore, ye are of more value than many sparrows." Many times when we think back to the creation history, we only remember the description of the different stages of the earth's development. However, Genesis chapter 2 gives us a broader perspective. These are the generations of the heavens and of the earth when they were created, in the day that the Lord God made the earth and the heavens, and every plant of the field before it was in the earth, and every herb of the field before it grew. For the Lord God had not caused it to rain upon the earth, and there was not a man to till the ground. These 2 verses highlight very important themes worthy of our remembrance. The first is that God created not only the earth, but everything around it as well. When the scriptures mention the heavens, what do you imagine? A place of clouds and bright light? Perhaps a more accurate way to imagine the heavens would be outer space. Solar systems, galaxies, the entire universe as we know it, and whatever lays beyond that we don't yet know of. Everything outside of the earth is considered the heavens. Remember how God divided the light from the dark? He formed the sun, the stars, and every other celestial body, and each of these follows patterns of movement that create day and night cycles, and allows us a measurement of time. These things require a perfection, an accuracy so strict that nothing besides a being with perfect knowledge and unimaginable power could design it. The circumstances required for a planet to be able to support life, like ours does, are so specific and so delicate that only perfection can make it happen. The second theme is implied when it says, God created every plant of the field before it was in the earth, and every herb of the field before it grew. We just described the fact that very specific circumstances must be met before life can exist on a planet. It can be extrapolated, therefore, that God created life spiritually before he gave anything physical form. This applies to people as well. Let's look at an example when God, speaking to Jeremiah, said, "Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee, and before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee, and I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations." These verses show that not only did God have foreknowledge of a person's existence, but that man existed before this physical plane and was able to interact with God personally. And the Lord God planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed. This verse may seem to give us very little, but one idea to be considered is the hypothesis that the earth didn't always have divided continents that look the way we are currently familiar with. And unto Eber were born 2 sons. The name of the one was Peleg, for in his day was the earth divided. Some biblical scholars believe that this verse refers to a literal division of land during the early stages of Earth's existence, and that before Peleg's time, we had what has come to be called a supercontinent or Pangaea. This single landmass would have incorporated all the dry land found on the Earth's surface. Biblical chronologists estimate the time of Peleg's life to have spanned from 2247 BC to 2007 BC. The Geological Society of America, or GSA, through numerous publications and research, supports the theory of Pangaea based on extensive geological evidence. The GSA explains that Pangaea's existence is supported by various lines of evidence, including the fit of the continents, fossil correlations across continents, and similarities in rock formations and mountain ranges. Now, when you look at the second Genesis chapter in the context of Pangaea, it allows us to conceptualize that the Garden of Eden was somewhere on the eastern end of the supercontinent, before it was broken up. However, there could be another way to interpret the Peleg verse. Peleg happened to live during the time of the incident with the Tower of Babel, which some scholars suggest could have occurred between 2200 and 2100 BC. Could the phrase, "in his days was the earth divided," be referring to the division of the human family after the destruction of the tower? If so, the ancient eastward location of the Garden of Eden will continue to be shrouded in mystery.